So you moved to California. As I understand it, you increased your cell phone minutes moving to LA, thinking you were going to be fielding lots of calls from agents, but really didn't happen, and you end up somewhere in the less desirable part of town with interesting views of your neighbor and his couch.
I moved into the Hollywood area, and I faced another apartment building, and I went out, I had a balcony, I went out on a balcony, and there was a guy in his living room looking at me, and then started humping his couch. So I'm like, this is my view, you know? So every time I came out there, he was there. So I had to live in the dark for 6 months. Because the guy had, I don't know, no job, no nothing. The guy was just having a ball with his couch. So
And would make eye contact.
Yeah, it was creepy. It was a weird vibe. And I went down to the landlord. I said, listen, I need to change rooms. This guy, I can't even, open my door. No, sorry, you have to wait till your 6 months lease is over. So after the 6 month lease, I then switched to another side of the building, which I didn't face anybody.
When you were working at the Four Seasons, why, even on your off days, would you come in uniform?
So to save money, I would come to the Four Seasons dressed in my waiter's outfit to eat at the cafeteria, so I didn't have to buy lunch that day or dinner that day. So I put the outfit on because if anybody had saw me there and saying, what are you eating in your shorts for? I would say, no, I'm working later on. So I was very kind of creative when it came to saving money back then because I was literally living kind of paycheck to paycheck. And I would do stuff like that to just save whatever, $9 on a lunch or groceries or what have you. I looked at the other day in 1998, I made $32,000 that year for 1 year. And I paid my rent, I paid my bills. I didn't really go out much because I didn't have, money to go out for drinks or what have you. So it was tough. It was just, and then I was doing comedy on top of that. And comedy, I'm not getting paid for comedy. I'm just getting stage time just so I could work on the craft. So.
And this is living in Los Angeles,
living
a
in
big
Los
city,
Angeles,
not a small town, right? Who were some of the notables you waited on at the Four Seasons, and what was the deal with John Travolta?
Yeah, John Travolta came in and late one night, and I was like, this is a guy I grew up watching, John Travolta, and he said he liked my legs. He goes, you got legs, powerful legs. I go, thanks, man, appreciate it. He was like, what do you do? I said, I'm a comedian, and I actually invited him to a show. Like I got up the nerve, and this is like, you're not even supposed to be at the Four Seasons. You're not like supposed to be humming with the guests. There's one time I think Conan O'Brien came in. I was going to send him my comedy tape to his room, and I was like, that's kind of stepping over like the Four Seasons protocol. But I waited on everybody from Pacino to De Niro to Nicole Kidman, who I thought was just absolutely beautiful. And when I saw her, I thought Vanna White was giving me vibe one night, and I didn't even know it was her. She was sitting at table 109. I don't know why I remember this. And I told my buddy, Dan, I go, the blonde at 109, I think is giving me vibe. He goes, are you kidding me? It's Vanna White. She's just being nice.
So did you say anything?
No.
Okay.
No. In my own Italian head, I thought, Vanna White was trying to hit up on me. Fool.
How would you work the schedule where you're doing sets at the Comedy Store mid-shift at the Four Seasons?
I would use my break to go and do stand-up, and I had timed it out where it took me 7 minutes to get to the Comedy Store and 7 minutes back. That's 14 minutes, and it was a 15-minute set. So I would be on the phone with the booth going, what's going on? He's like, oh, hey, he's got 10 minutes left. And then I would start to tell the waiter to watch my section while I went to do the stand-up, and then would come back and pick up my tables again. They had no idea what I was at the comedy club doing. I didn't go to LA to be a waiter.
Right.
So and nothing was going to get in the way of me doing a set, because I felt like if I didn't get...
Yeah, but you couldn't afford to lose that job, though, either at the time.
But I had it set with the manager who was, this is what I've learned. If he called me to come into work and I had nothing to do, I'd come into work. So I would help him out. I feel like it's a give and take. I helped him out, he helped me out. I wanted to work and get money to live so much that I would sit by the time where people would clock in. I would stand there and people would come in and I say, you want to go home today? And I would be in full waiter outfit. You want to go home today? I'll pick up your shift. And this is LA, where, there's a bunch of people dying to go home. So I would, because at that point I owed my dad 10 grand because I went into a debt. So I had to pay him back.
What do you think of how he handled that?
Yeah, so I was going into credit card debt because what I did was I left the Four Seasons and I started selling satellite dishes for Dish Network out of a kiosk at a mall. I go, this is going to be simple. It was not simple, and I started using credit card advances to pay my bills, and then got to a point where my mother on the phone noticed I wasn't me. I go, I gotta be honest with you, I'm $10,000 in debt. My dad got on the phone.
Emotional.
Yeah, it got emotional because, I just was despondent. I wasn't really engaged. And she's like, what's going on? And, I kind of broke down. I go, I don't know how this happened, but for the last year, I've been kind of paying my bills with credit cards. I'm not making enough money. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to call home going, I need money. I felt like I could figure this out, but I got to a point where I needed the help. So he got on the phone. He's like, I'll pay the debt. Just pay me back. So I would pay him. I went back to the Four Seasons to work, and I would send him a check a month to, and he had it down to a penny. He's like, all right, he had the napkins, whatever the hell. He doesn't, my dad doesn't use like normal, he's not on an Excel spreadsheet. He's got the numbers on like a pizzeria napkin. So he would look, he goes, oh, hey, you owe me $8,640, So he had it all documented, and I paid it off clean. And some people go, oh, it's your father or it's your family. He could have just gave you the 10 grand and be done with it. But I kind of like that it happened that way because it gave me a sense of like, no one's going to give you a handout, not even your own family. And it kind of shocked me into having more responsibility for my actions as far as how I was going to make money. And it was good. I'm glad it worked out the way it did.